What's going on, everybody? So, we're getting shit done today. We are getting shit done. Let me actually go this way more. We're putting the front back together. Getting the small things that I need out of the way. I need to take this bracket off. It's not terrible. Whew, it is a hot one though today. I'll tell you that much. Not bad. What's going on? What's going on? Contemplating everything I still gotta tighten up. Here's the 13 right there. Get two of them things. Yeah, so pretty much the story behind this is this 4-liter. We're already at part 11 in this series, live series, I should say. I just wanted to make it a realistic expectation of somebody doing this in their garage. I got two of these Cherokees, $800, 400 each. One had a good transmission, one had a bad motor. So what I ended up doing is taking the bad motor out of this Cherokee, taking the 4-liter, that was the good motor, in my 2-door, and I ended up taking that out, putting it in here. I still got to hook up the transmission, but everything else around here is actually hooked up for the most part. The only thing left I got, throw the throttle body on, fan, I'll throw the belt on, then I could put the radiator in, transmission goes in, and you know, this thing should fire up. 94 Cherokee, 93 Cherokee. This is a 4-door, that's a 2-door. Kicker is that now has a 5.3 LS in it. Trying to figure out what I want to do. Do I want to do a drag build, or do I want to do a 4x4 pre-runner build? Oof, I'm very torn. I'm very, 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 very torn. But everything's going. It's going pretty smooth, actually. Let's just get this thing. We could throw 2 electric big-ass fans on this thing and cool it like that. Got the vacuum lines. That has the lip. So let's go ahead and get to this. If you guys are new to the channel, drop a sub. You know, we try to go live on all these new projects that we got going on here in about 20-30 minutes. Yeah, so the pre-runner one, I want to do like the suspension like the old 91. I think it's called IFS or something like that. It's essentially, I want it to like scissor. So I want it to be like something like that. I think it would be fucking sick. Because I had an old Cherokee, if you guys look back on the channel, it pretty much was a M90 supercharged 4-liter long arm kit, but the thing was a ripper. And I always wanted to, I seen this one guy out there in California. I think he lives in SoCal, but dude's jumping his XJ on like motocross jumps. And I was like, I need that in my life. I really do. Because I have, all my Jeeps are personally V8 swap. I want to get into where crazy articulation. I think it's Mark Designs or something over in California. They got some badass freaking pre-runner, and like they're just redesigning the wheel at that point. They got the old Willys wagon that freaking has one of the most badass suspensions I've ever seen. And I'm thinking about, I'm just escalating every time. But I also want to chase down the world record for a Jeep Cherokee. Supposedly the world record right now is like 8.3 and a quarter mile at 165. I don't see why we don't throw twin turbos on this thing. Bore out a 6-liter, make it, or we could do like bore out a 6.2, make it a 6.7, make it like a 411 stroker or something. I think that's 411. And then put twin turbos on it, build it for boost, get like 1,400 horsepower out of it, frame stiffeners, put it on a big old fat drag slick, take it on sick week next year. There's so many options. It's so cheap, and I mean, the motor's already in there. I'll show you guys real quick. So the 5.3 is already in. This thing is not too bad. It's got decent freaking heads on it. It's got the 7, well, these are the, I think this is the 706. Yep, this has the 706 heads. Freaking, if I want to run this, I got to change this bracket out. I'm going to run my alternator where it clocks this way. But there's plenty of room in here. I also got to pull this engine. I just mocked it up. I'm using the Novak adapter engine mounts. They pretty much bolt in exactly. You can see right here. These things bolt in exactly where the stock ones go. Drop in a 5.3 LS. No problem. Same thing over here. Like you can see, they're the same exact mount. So just one day at a time. We got to knock out my girlfriend's because she said she wants this thing done before I start working on mine. She wasn't already happy that I threw the LS in it, to be honest with you. But you leave me alone in the junkyard long enough, I could snatch the motor out in 2.5 hours. I'll put it in quicker than that. Bada bing, bada boom. Really, I gotta just get, I don't know if I want to plug everything up because I gotta move the motor around. I'm thinking, I just gotta man up, get under there. This transmission is freaking heavy. And I gotta get it up on my transmission jack underneath the fucking car. And this thing's not even lifted that much. All my other rigs, I could sit up straight. And then I'll just put the transmission on my lap, cross it over. Now, I gotta freaking, I don't even know what I'm about to do. I think I might take the jack, put it on the front of the bell housing, lift it up to a point where I could put this piece of wood we'll take this piece of wood. I either stand it up like this to where I get enough clearance to where I can slide it up, and I just take the tail housing, lift it up onto it. Then I just strap it down and I won't have a problem. But this thing is probably 60 pounds lighter than the 8-speed that I did. And in my 4-door Wrangler, I got a 392 with an 8-speed. I'm about to be doing content on that thing because I let it sit and it died. Well, I swapped the intake manifold and now it doesn't want to fire. I think the injectors are dirty. But for the most part, we are getting there, boys. We are getting there. All this is pretty much laid out. I really just got to get down to the transmission. Well, I can actually swap out this bracket. Yeah, we can go over to the other motor. I got the other 4-liter that I took out of this. We're going to take some parts for it. Before I do that, I think I need another thermostat for this thing. This thing is rough shape. It's got a new valve cover gasket though. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys drop a sub. You know, we're on the road to 500. I think I'm at like 391. I've been pumping and dumping, you know. I'm trying to get as much content. I have so many projects that it's going to be kind of hard for me not to stay consistent with the content coming up because, I mean, we got this one we need to finish. We got this one we need to finish. I got a 1-ton swap YJ that I got to finish the front axle on. I'm just waiting for my buddy to get back from vacation. We're going to go swap that. That thing's leaf spring. That Jeep right there, my Jeep YJ on 37 sits at 6'11" from the ground to the roof. Freaking big mammer jammer. Thing's got 5.3 LS. Like I said, I got a 4-door that we got problems with, and I gotta figure them out. I think it's the tuning problem with also the transmission. That's kind of why I put it down at first, because it was kicking me out and then wanted to go into like some limp mode, and so I changed the intake, changed the throttle body. So we'll see. I mean, it's not anything I can't figure out, but let me tell you, within 2 years I've done 6 builds, and I feel like that's a lot of work, especially for like the 392 that I did. I had no knowledge on it. I pretty much was winging it. Found a couple people that did it, jumped on, absorbed the information. Once I absorbed it, I was like, man, I think I can do that. Did everything all necessary, but we're gonna get there. One day at a time, couple lives a day. Well, I don't know about a couple lives a day, but we also right now, like for instance, I'm probably gonna get to a standstill on this today, and then like my grandfather is gonna get over here, and I can show you guys. You know, we're doing the front diff cover. We're changing out the driver's side hub. I gotta do the rear diff. We're doing a disc brake conversion on the XJs, where you could take a 97 to 2007 Jeep Grand Cherokee with the 4.7. You could take off the disc brakes, use those brackets to put on your 8 1/4, And also you can use a 2000, I think it goes 97 to 2007 for the Jeep Liberty as well. Has the disc brakes for the 8 1/4 that you're able to do, where you just pull off the back. You got to take off the diff because they have the C clips on the back and the differential, and then you take the C clips out, you pull out the axles, then it'll give you access to the actual backing plate. You take out the 4 bolts, you pull out the backing plate. Depending on your junkyard, if you go to a right junkyard, you can look at the parts list and the pricing before you get there. My junkyard charged $4.50 for each bracket, pretty much $9 for the brackets. We got brand new calipers, we got brand new rotors. I mean, if you want to do it cheap, like I think it would have costed maybe like $120 for everything that you needed to do the disc brake conversion, just from the junkyard. And also, it's good advice to go to the junkyard if you don't have disc brake or calipers, and you can take those calipers. Oftentimes, they'll be cheaper. So at my junkyard, calipers $12. If you take it to like Advanced or AutoZone, the core is $25. So technically, you can make money by bringing back the core. Pretty smart. Pretty dang smart, if you ask me. But it could be like a little infinite money loop. Yeah, I really just need to get this transmission down, but I honestly kind of need a second set of hands. I might have to wait a little bit till my grandfather gets here and see if he can help me, because I don't see how I'm going to get the jack and the transmission up on the freaking lift by myself. We could try, but it's going to be pretty difficult. I already kind of got down there before I started the live and seeing if I could do it. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't got the forearms for that. Pretty strong, but let me tell you, that thing is rough. If you guys have any questions about some Cherokees, if you guys got problems with your Cherokee, I mean, I've freaking had like 8 of these, so I'm pretty well rounded on what's going on with these things. It's fairly easy to work on them. If you have any questions about LS swaps and Cherokees, I'm well aware of that. You guys are actually sitting on the box for the wiring harness for that thing. So right now, that is a horsefly. Man. Alright guys, so there's a horsefly here. Little fun fact, I get bit by a horsefly, I swell up. So I usually kill him as soon as I see him. And that dude's gonna get whopped. He's coming over here trying to mess with me. I'm gonna whop his ass. Come on, buddy. Yeah, I see your ass. Oh, you have a nest in here, big dog? Hell no. I'm gonna give you that welcome to Florida. Come on, motherfucker, come on. Fuck. I lost him. Man, there's another wasp in this motherfucker. Sheesh. They're out to get me. Ooh, where did that motherfucker go? I'm gonna tell you, because if I get bit one time, I found his ass. Ooh, I'm whopping your ass. Green one's the one I care about, big dog. Wasp, you good. Damn, son. Yeah, piss you off, bitch. You piss me off. Come on, bitch. Come on, bitch. Come on, bitch. Yeah, bitch. Come on. I'm gonna give you the business. Got his ass. Told you. I don't play no games. One for the kill. This motherfucker get me, he's gon' I don't play. Killed or be killed. You know what I mean? That guy right there, no bueno. Yeah, bud. You done fucked up coming around these parts. Boom. Stomped his ass. I ain't playing. Mm-mm. That thing will tear me up. That thing will literally eat me up. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I mean, concurrent wise, cook it, eat it. I mean, actually, that would be funny. I actually might do a short where next time me and my lady go on the trail during the day, out here in Ocala, like if you get out there on the trail, the horse flies are so bad. One time we were out there last summer because they're starting to come back. I had 17 of those flies stacked up in a little freaking pile. And I should make a video be like, yep, kill or be killed. Boom. Throw them on a little bit of butter. I got to see if they're probably edible. I mean, I eat bugs. I'm not scared to eat bugs. That ain't nothing but a little boo thing. Let me ask you, you guys like freaking crawfish? Or you ever had crawfish? Oh, freaking river bugs? I love me some river bugs, let me tell you what. Some Cajun freaking crawfish, boy. That Cajun seasoning. I love that shit. Yeah, this they're gonna get done. This one should be done by the end of the day. I really just gotta throw the wiring harness on it, throw the trans. I mean, the trans is really the biggest project right now. I'll throw the radiator in, we'll fire it up, call it a day. Bada bing, bada boom. But let me tell you what, them crawfish, I'll eat like, by myself, when I go eat crawfish, I could probably eat 3 or 4 pounds of them. I'll eat 4 hush puppies and a potato. Well, how I do my crawfish, we do whole potatoes, corn, but I love my hush puppies. Oh, hell no, I just heard a big boy come in here, zipping in. Did you kill my homie? This is for my homie. Yeah, this line's so bad, I gotta cut it off. I'm not fighting it. And then I break it off, and then I gotta end up going. Oh yeah, no, let me tell you what. I grew up on the river out here. Freaking go crappie fishing, catch like 10 or 15 of them, do a fish fry. We do oysters. Unfortunately, didn't get a tag this year, but I'm thinking about getting a boat too and doing some outdoor activities like gator hunting and stuff like that. Let's see right here, can't really get you guys over here. That 91 MJ you got, is it all original or are you doing just a 4.0 swap, an LS swap? boy. Almost cut my hand. Let me get a little screwdriver. Yeah, by the way, guys, I do this stuff for fun. If you listen to me, take my advice. I mean, I am knowledgeable, but I am also the fuck around and find out type. So I blow up a motor, I'll go get me another motor. This one I know is not going to do nothing because it's a stock motor. When it comes to LS swaps, I will go buy a junkyard motor. I won't even test it. I'll throw that thing together, blow it up, take it back, replace it, put it back. I mean, you guys can kind of see over here. Not only do I have an LS in my Cherokee, I also keep an LS on standby just in case. You never know. My YJ, before it was taken down, I had full intentions. My Jeep's name, the blue one, it's called No Bypass because the thing is so big, it's geared, well, it's fixing to be geared. It's only a 373 gear right now. It used to be 538 gears. And the thing would go through anything. It's a monster. It's got a turbo 400, a 208F transfer case. I mean, people could say what they want to say about it, but realistically, if you want a cheap LS swap, you're going to go ahead and do 5.3, turbo 400, do a 208F because it's a driver's side drop. It's a 32 spline count, and then it'll bolt right up, double yoke, no freaking need for a SYE kit and all that good stuff because it's already double yoked up. Throw that thing together. Freaking beast. I don't care if it's chain driven, you know, they're cheap. You blow it up, you repeat. Most people want to get all fancy. I looked into it. I bought a 4L60 for my other for the 5.3 build. And then I got thinking, I was like, well, I could do a 241C, but then I got to go and do an SYE kit on it. SYE kit's a couple $100. It's got a weird flange on it. So I was like, you know, I kind of rather just do something easy where if I break it, I just do U-joints, bada bing, bada boom. Pretty straightforward. And that's how we're going to do it. But I'm also thinking about just keeping it a two-wheel drive and doing like a pre-runner where I can jump the shit out of it. Like I want to do like at least I'll freaking boot this thing off a freaking motocross jump if it's built well enough. I mean, yeah, we got to get that one bracket off. We got to get this AC out of the way. I just need a second hand. Yeah, I'm really pretty much just idling. Yeah, still working on it. My grandfather ended up getting a 2000 Cherokee 2 days ago, and it was like to the point where it was undrivable. So I had to focus on that for a couple of days, get it to where he can actually drive it back and forth. Right now, the motor's already hooked up. The only thing left I gotta do is throw the harness on it, put the transmission. I'm waiting for my grandfather to get here so he can at least push the jack in while I'm trying to lift it up because I can't do two things at one time. I already tried. It's kind of a pain in the ass. And the thing's not lifted enough to where I could sit up underneath it. So I kind of wish I put the transmission on the jack before I had the motor in it. And I could have just sat in the engine bay, lifted that thing up, put it on the jack, slid it back, put the motor in. Because then I would have been able to do it by myself. I just can't lift it up like this or like this because I'm laying on my freaking stomach. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass because it's kind of annoying. I showed him the most badass Cherokee. This thing had front and rear lockers. It had 410. It had the front air locker with 410 ARB locker. Compressor worked, was front trussed with the Iron Road off-road truss kit. Had one for the rear, same thing. Diff kit, or had aftermarket diff covers that were from Rugged Ridge, I think it was the company. And thing had crossover steer with Heim joints, nice sunroof, no rust, $5,000. And then he didn't like the fact that it was running and driving rough, so he wanted to go get this other one, sight unseen, same price. So what do? We drive another 45 minutes out of our way past my house to go pick this thing up at night. He's driving it home. Hubs overheat. Freaking thing gets death wobbles over 55. It looks like it has spacers missing for the upper control arms. But he bought a stock Cherokee. It's still a very nice Cherokee. I'll give it that. But it does have its problems. It's not a freaking, it's got a rough country lift on it versus this thing had the rusty off-road coil springs up front, had Fox Racing shocks. It had the works, but he says he didn't want really an off-road rig. So I was like, all right, well, let's go find another one. And then now he literally bought it, and he's talking about doing air lockers. He's talking about doing this and that. And I'm like, hey, man, you said you wanted to keep it stock. But for the most part, I mean, this thing's not running AC. The only reason I'm not putting the wiring harness on it right now is because I know I gotta pick up I'm gonna pick up the motor and probably put it in place. Well, the motor's actually bolted down. So I think when I put the transmission on, that's the only thing that's gonna angle it back up. If you guys are new to the channel, we do outdoor and off-road stuff. I work on a lot of Jeeps. But we're getting this one on the road. This one's my girlfriend's. Try to drop a sub. We're on the road to 500. You know, I'm trying to get there, get square. We get this one out of the way. I can get my red Jeep over here. We can really get down. I miss that thing. I bought that Jeep for $2,500. It's a 4-door Cherokee. Like, if you guys go on one of my first videos I've ever dropped, it's kind of funny. The thing is hideous. It had no doors, had no driver's seat, had the 40% seat in the rear, didn't have that. What else did it not have? Oh, the motor was locked up. It spun a rod bearing. So I drove to Kentucky from Florida overnight because the guy said that there was another guy who wanted to check it out, but he'll give me a first, if I can get there by Saturday, he'll let me buy it. So I drove through the night to go pick up this Jeep Wrangler. It was a 07. Went, grabbed it, got back, realized it was a turd. Found a 392 Hemi motor for a good price. At that time, the 392 Hemi was still going for $6,500. I bought mine for $5,000. It had 28,000 miles on it, and then I got an 8-speed transmission, and I worked with Jeep Speed Shop to see if I could do the conversion. Ended up taking a long time, had a bunch of tunability issues with my transmission. I kind of wish I stuck with the stock transmission that was in it, but everything works as far as it's like the AC controls. My dash lights still work. You still plug it in, it still sees it as a Jeep. So I love that thing, but I hate it. I haven't got to drive it in like 2 years. Well, actually, that's a lie. I drove it like 4 months ago, and then I pretty much parked it because it was having problems, and I got another trail rig. Essentially, if I start getting problems with the Jeep, I'll end up more than likely buying another project just so to entertain myself while I'm dealing with the other fucking problem. But then I bought this YJ. First day of ownership, I busted the drive shaft. After I busted the drive shaft, got a new drive shaft made. Then I blew up the motor. Within this was like 5 days. I blew the motor up, gonna go drive it, cranked up. It's like, it was running smooth, and all of a sudden went knock, boom. Look underneath, rod went through the side of the block. I was like, well, motherfucker. I got. I got for sure. So told the dude, yeah, motor blew. Luckily I had another 5.3 that I literally have. I don't know why I like to do it, but I keep motors to the side just in case I need them. So I had a 5.3 already sitting. Didn't even have a 5.3 project. I just had it sitting in the garage, and I was like, well, I got a 5.3. Let me go ahead and do head gaskets, just a top end rebuild real quick, throw it in. I was into this motor. Well, I got the motor for free. I was into it for $400. Drove it 120 miles, and when I got to my buddy's, pretty much I looked at it. One of my rotors was cracked. This was a mud truck, so it makes sense, but one of the rotors was cracked, one of the brake pads was missing on the rear. I had my leaf springs were, I'm surprised, still holding together because their bushings were completely blown out. It was crab walking real bad. So then I made the decision at my buddy's, because he was like, we can keep it here, we could build it. He's an awesome fabricator, awesome welder. So I was like, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Let's go ahead and do that. So it took a little time to get the parts and stuff like that, but the 42s that I had on it at the time, I had 42s, 4 9-inch rear, Dana 44 front, and I was like, well, let me go ahead and do 1-tons. So I priced it out for the price that I could sell my wheels and tires with the axles for. I could practically do the whole 1-ton swap. So currently the 1-ton swap process right now, where we're completed, almost everything in the rear is welded up or is at least tacked up and it's sitting on its own. I need a tap so I can tap the U-bolts and get them to be a longer bolt so I don't have to worry about the block. Take the block out, then it'll drop down a little bit, because my garage here is 6'8", and I wanted it to be underneath. Hey man, thanks for stopping by. By the time next time you stop by, this thing's gonna be going. But the YJ, man, that thing right there, 1-ton swap is pretty much, we got because the track bar snapped the bolt. It freaking snapped the bolt, and now I gotta go freaking help them. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Fortunately, right now, this has to go on hold. We'll be back again later today. I'm going to make sure that this thing gets a first fire up for you guys, because we're going on part 12. So appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe and tune in next time.